All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to this webinar, Back to Basics, the Essentials for Using Odoo Effectively. My name is Charlie Dujardin. I've been working at Odoo for almost 3 years now as an account manager. What does that mean about me? I'm going to be the point of contact of our customer, making sure they make the best out of Odoo, of the implementation, and also make sure that everything is going well between them or consultant or anyone else who is involved in their process. So the goal of today is to actually find out what are the basics of Odoo if you are new to the software, if you're looking into it, or if you're already existing customer who just want to see the basic again. This video is made for you. So this is the agenda of the day. We are going to start with the introduction. We are right in it at the moment. Then we'll see some basics. We'll then see a real life example followed by the demo. Then I'm going to show you some support, some links to help you find solution to your issues and your questions. And then we'll end up with a Q&A where you can ask me any question that you want related to Odoo, obviously. So for a few here today, you might have no clue what Odoo is. So we're going to really start from the beginning and take a step back and actually discuss what Odoo is. Odoo is an ERP. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, and that means that Odoo is a software. Okay, Odoo is a software for businesses. We are going to manage pretty much everything linked to businesses, from the sales management, the accounting, website, marketing, HR, and so on. The good thing with Odoo is that all of those software, all of those modules, they all work together, and this is the strength of our software. Odoo has different solutions. This might be confusing, so this is also one of the points I wish to tackle with you today. We do have a community version, enterprise version, and a Odoo SH version. The community version is free and open source. If you are IT friendly, if you know how to code, or if you have a really low budget, this might be the solution for you. You can play around. This is like a sandbox. You can do whatever you want with it. You are missing on a few features that you will find in the enterprise version, which is our most common version. Okay, I'm not going to read everything that's on the slide, but feel free to look at it. This is really the most common version. Then we'll move to SH. I usually call SH the Formula 1 version of Odoo, for the simple reason that this is really the most advanced version of the software. You can do anything that you want, and we also give you a platform to code. So if you can do Python, if you know someone who can do Python, or if you want to work with an expert, either from us or from one of our partners, this is really the way to go. Eventually, most businesses go to Odoo SH at some point, because this gives you the option to really customize the software to your needs, make something really tailor-made that answer everyone's needs, not only yours, but also every department and every employees. So we've mentioned Odoo is a software, but what are the other strengths of Odoo? Well, first of all, Odoo is integrated. Okay, what do I mean by this? We've got many businesses who have 5, 10, 20, 45 sometimes different software to work with. This is a lot. This is how you're going to lose data. This is how you're going to make duplicates. This is how you're going to really make mistakes. Even with discussion, you might be missing on some point. So this is where Odoo comes in and cleans everything, and we are going to give you the solution to work on one platform online with everything included. This means that if I'm a salesperson, and I need to be in touch with the marketing, or maybe the marketing needs to be in touch with me. They've got some big opportunity for me I need to work on. Well, marketing is going to automate workflows in my CRM, in my sales module. When I create a sale order, I'm going to send information straight to the accounting for the invoicing, but I can also send information to either my project manager or my logistic people working on deliveries and so on. Everything, or at least everything we can, will automate in Odoo to make your life easier, but also the life of your employees. So Odoo is integrated, all the modules working together. Then also Odoo is intuitive. I don't know if you've seen this before, if you've seen something like this. I believe everyone who's working on a computer has seen this at some point. You're going to have files everywhere. You get confusing because some other people will name these files, so you don't know where you're going. You might need to go from file to file, then it's on a drive in the end. You get lost, you get frustrated, you lose time, and the communication is not there. Well, we're going to move you from this to something more like this with a list view with proper information. You can see in this example, we are looking actually at invoicing, okay, invoices. So we're going to have on the left hand side the number of the invoice. I know it stands in French, but my bad. Then we're going to have the customer, client, okay. We're going to have then the invoicing date, due date, salesperson, and so on and so on. And those information can be changed. This is just one example, but you can really custom your list view, your Kanban view, any view that we have, you can customize it to when you open it, you are looking at the right information. If I need to find what solution I've sold to customer A 10 years ago, I don't need to go to a file, another file in 10 years ago, or ask someone else. I'm just going to go in there, I'm just going to filter by date, I'm going to look for the specific customer, and I'm going to find it in a few seconds. We're going to have a quick demo at the end as mentioned, and you'll be able to see this live. I wanted to also give you a real life example. So for the two examples I'm going to give you today, they both link to Incense, which is a company close to our headquarters in Louvain here in Belgium, and they are working with Odoo. I just want to give an example of how they were working before, well, how they are still working to be fair, but just with Odoo now. So when you get started in the company, you might need to do first call, then you might need to log your notes, we'll need to send first email, log notes, repeat, then you get to your first sales, checking stock, drafting a request for quotation, and so on and so on. This takes time, because my first call, I might need to go on computer or ask for a phone number from marketing or look at my notes, then I'm going to need to log notes, maybe I do that on another software, then my emails, find the email address, and so on, then repeat. Then if I need to check stock because I've finally done my sales, I might need to call my guy from logistic. He's not here. I need to do something else. I need to reach out, go to purchase. All of this is time consuming. You might have been through something like this in your case. Well, this is where Odoo comes in. I just want to show you how all of these steps can be done in 2 clicks max in Odoo. Again, we'll see that in a demo, but just to show you here, this is a first example. I'm going to be here on my CRM. So for a sales perspective, I'm going to have a button for my first email. I'm going to have a button for drafting quotation. I'm going to have a button for first call, logging notes. I've got access to all my emails. Everything here is together in one place. This makes your life easier. And then if I click on something else, I'm going to be able to find my sale order. I've got a link to my deliveries, a link to my invoice. I can send follow-ups. I can check my stock in real time as well. There's no need to reach out to anyone. There's no need to wait for anyone else to come back to you because everything is there. Everything is grouped into one place, accessible and intuitive. So Odoo is integrated. All those modules work together. Odoo is intuitive. We make something simple that anyone can access. But Odoo is also scalable. And this is where I'm going to take, again, the example of Incense. So they were working in 2022 with the community version of Odoo. Okay, they've made the first step on the software. They had 3 people at the start. They needed to work on the CRM. They needed to do invoicing, purchase, sales, and so on. They didn't really have a budget. They're also quite techy and handy. They were like, okay, we'll work on the community version. Then at some point, the first employees came in and they had to manage project. They had to manage time off. They managed to manage expenses. Wasn't an issue because Odoo is scalable. What I mean by this is that you don't have to download all the 80 apps from the beginning. You can really actually start with a few modules, just like in Incense here with 4 modules, then download the 5th one, 6th one, and so on as you grow. There's no extra cost linked to it. Odoo will grow with you as you grow, as you evolve, as you have maybe new departments, new employees, new needs. Odoo will grow with you and will adapt to this. In 2023, Incense decided to move to the enterprise version to have access to the accounting, but also all support and maintenance to work also hand in hand with Odoo directly. And they are soon to move to Odoo SH. So this is roughly an idea of how Odoo can scale with you. If you have any question about this, if you have any doubt about this, we'll give you some support at the end of this video where you can reach out to people and ask questions, see if your workflows can be scalable in Odoo. All right, so this is pretty much it. We have seen the basic now. Let's jump into a demo and see how it works. So what I'm going to do is I've moved to odoo.com to the main website. I've created an account and now I want to do a database. What I'm doing now, all of you here can do it as well. Okay, you can go on Odoo.com and start a free database for 14 days. See if it works for you, try to look a bit into it and see how it reacts and if it matches your need. So what I'm going to do here is I could just click on try free, but I know the link. I'm going to go here, odoo.com/trial, and I'm going to have here an overview of all my apps. Okay, from the beginning I can only pick 10, but at the end I'll be able to add anything that I need. I'm going to start with, I don't know, maybe an e-commerce and a website. Oops, there we go. I'm going to want a CRM, sales, the accounting. If you take invoicing and accounting and you don't see the invoicing, it's normal. Invoicing is included in your accounting. No restaurant for today. I'm going to do projects, and you know what, we'll do inventory, purchase, and maybe manufacturing. Well, let's put employees as well. There we go. This is 10. I'm going to get started. So I'm going to be able to put all information here. I'm going to be able to write it. So I'm going to say Charlie Odoo webinar. And I'm going to here use to my company. That's fine. There we go. Start now. So Odoo is now creating a database for me. As mentioned, this is going to last 14 days. I'm going to receive an email just to confirm the database, make sure that this is not spamming. And also, I'm going to be able to work from my website straight from the beginning. Okay, so we're going to see here, this is building my e-commerce. A shorter way of doing so, if you need to, is go to demo.odoo.com. This is another solution for you guys. If you wish to skip this, you can always type that link. You know what? Let's move on to it quickly. I'll show you what it looks like. Only issue with this is this database is temporary. Okay, it's going to expire after 1 to 2 hours. So this is great for testing workflows, but I wouldn't advise working on it for forever. So back on my database here, I'm going to be able to create my website. So I'm going to click on Let's Do It. I want a website. Actually, I sell furniture, so do we have anything from here? Yes, perfect. And I want to get leads. Colors, I like those one. If you want to add some pages to your website, this is where you do it. I'm good for now. Let's build my website. I like this template, and I like this one too. As you can see, when you're creating this website, Odoo is going to help you out to find the right templates or right colors to make something really custom made that you like and that you'll be able to work with. In the meantime, here while it's loading, I just want to explain to you a few things. If you need help at some point with getting started with your database, I will see at the end again, but you can always reach out to one of our departments that will help you out and direct you to the right person. So I'm gonna go back here. This was my website. As you can see here, we do have a notification that the database will expire in 3 hours. This is just for us to go here on our email and then validate. Okay. What I'm going to do now is go to the settings. So for this demo, what I'm going to do is, before we get all the basics, I'm going to load some demo data. Okay, normally what you would do in your case is actually load your own information and start working with this. But in this case, to show you what Odoo actually looks like at the end of the implementation, I'm going to load some demo data. If you want to do that, you can as well. If you want to have a shot, if you want to have a look at how Odoo would look like with a full database, you can always do that as well. So I'm just going to need to activate the developer mode. There we go. Then scroll down again, and you're going to see load demo data. Keep in mind, if you do so, your database will be full of generic information that you can't use. So this database at the end will go to the bin. It's going to take a few seconds to load. I'm just going to go here and validate my database. There we go. If you have any question about this, please write them down, and we'll have a Q&A at the end where I'm going to answer all of them, or at least try to answer all of them. So what Odoo is doing now is actually getting me some contacts, getting me some sale orders, getting me some products, getting me some invoices, employees, colleagues, and so on. So this is going to take some time, but at least at the end, I'm going to be able to see a fully working database and see a bit what I could do. Okay. There we go. So here we are. The first thing I want to go through with you is the settings. Why the settings? Because Odoo is, as we mentioned, automated. Okay, Odoo, I think this is my experience and my point of view, but the good thing with Odoo, the amazing thing with Odoo is the automation that we have. If you wish to automate something, it needs to be configured properly. Okay, so this means that you need to look at all the settings, and either it's going to give you ideas or it's going to give you solutions on what to do and how to do so. Okay, so if you need, for instance, to work with a website, I would invite you to go on the website and check the configuration. This is going to give you ideas mentioned on what is doable. But here, I'm not going to go through all the configuration with you. This would take so much time, but I do want to look at the most important one here at the top. So what solution do we have? First of all, we can here manage the users. Okay, so if I do have colleagues, this is somewhere I can add them. Okay, I'm just going to look at my user now. This is all the user access. Okay, so this is also one of the basics of Odoo. If you have colleagues and you're like, okay, I do like John, but I don't want him to have access to my accounting, for instance. This is where you go. You go here, I'm going to be no on the accounting. Okay, in my case, I do want to keep it because, oh, well, I'm the administrator, but this is where you can remove it. Okay, if you want to do something on the supply chain, this is where you do it. Okay, you've got all these accesses. We have also here different companies. Okay, in my case here, I've got 3 different companies, one in Belgium, one in San Francisco, and one in Chicago. If I do want to split, maybe John is working, I know, Belgium, don't want him to have access to inventory in the other countries. This is why I do it. Just remove these tags and his access will be removed. We have different also access right here, record rules that you can access, but this is more in depth. So I'll leave that aside for now. Let's go one step back. So this is for the user access. Then we're going to have the languages. Okay, Odoo will have multiple languages accessible, meaning that if I have customer speaking Spanish, French, English, and Dutch and German, for instance, I'm going to be able to automate sending emails in this language. Okay, maybe I want my customer who speaks Spanish to receive something in Spanish, although I've got no clue how to speak Spanish or barely. So I'm going to add the language on Odoo. I'm going to program, say, okay, Juan Carlos, for instance, is speaking Spanish. I'm going to change the language on its contact form, and this is going to automate the sending of emails in their own language. Okay. Also, if I need to change the language on my screen, on my Odoo here, I can always go here, go to my profile, and then change my preferences and change that to French or whatever. We'll keep that in English for now. Something else about Odoo, this is where you're going to find the document layouts. So this is, again, I've said I've been working at Odoo for almost 3 years now. This is a question I've got, I believe, every 2 weeks or so. You're going to find templates in Odoo, and you might want to add some few things to it. Maybe you like background, you like to change maybe the invoice number, you want it to add bottom or something like this. Let's be honest, the template in Odoo is quite restrictive. Okay, you're going to be able to adapt a few things, but if you really want something really custom made, you'll have to get help from either a consultant or someone who can code with templates. Don't get me wrong, this is more than enough to work with, and we've been working with those kind of invoices for 20 years now, and we've been doing just fine. So I'm pretty sure this is enough for you guys as well. But if you do want something really custom made, either you need to find someone who can code that, or you need to go through one of our consultants. What can you do already with those layout? Well, we've got different views here. I can put wave, bubble, feather, whatever you like. I do like the wave one. Then I like structure. I want to put some boxes here. I can change the text, I can change my logo, my colors, and so on. Can also add my bank account if I want to. There we go. And I can even add QR codes at the bottom for my invoices or my sale orders. Okay. Once this is set up, you can just save it, continue, and this is now my template for future sale order and email templates. So that's one thing. We have also the intercompany transaction, just if you've got multi-company invoicing each other or purchasing or selling to each other, this is where you can save some time by automating I don't know, if I sell to company B, for instance, I want them to raise a purchase order to company A, this is where I do it. We can also manage companies. As mentioned, if you've got multiple companies, this is where you manage those. All right, this is it for most of the settings. I'm going to invite you guys to look at it if you've got any more question about it, and come back to either myself or one of my colleagues with your questions. So what we're going to move out to now, we are going to move to the contact form. Here we go. Something I wanted to show you as well was reviewing all templates. Yeah, my bad. Before we get into the contact, I do want to show you this as also. This is all the emails template I've just mentioned that we're going out automatically. You can change those from here. Okay, so if you wish to modify, I don't know, maybe the, what can we do? The e-commerce. I'm going to do, well, whatever, batch received, for instance. This is the template that we have. You can see in blue, this is computed fields, so they're going to retrieve information from other places. I would invite, if you don't have the skills, to not touch this and leave it as it is. But if you do want to add a few things, you can always do that from here, and this is going to add to the templates. All right, enough said about the settings. Let's dive a bit deeper into what Odoo actually is. So I'm going to show you the contact to start with. This is my contact list. Okay, so I'm going to find information here. I'm going to see the name, the email, phone, and so on. We've seen that earlier in my slides. I've shown you, I told you that we could actually adapt this. This is where you do it. Okay, so maybe you don't really care about the activities, or maybe you don't really care about the phone or the country, whatever. This is really where you can change. So if I want to have, for instance, the date where these contacts were created, or if I want to find the company they are linked to, this is where I click. If I want to remove it, I can just click here, untick it, and this goes away. This is the list view. Okay, this is for the more pragmatic people, but I do like the Kanban view better myself. This is small windows where you're going to find all the information that we've just seen in the list view, but on a small window, don't know how you call it. And this is where you can just scroll down and find all the information. Okay, then we also have a map view if you want to, an activity view. But let's go back on this. What else do we see? We see a search bar. The search bar here is going to be really important into Odoo. You're going to see that this view that we're looking at the moment, so the list view, the Kanban view, and the search bar, and the menu here, this is pretty much everywhere in Odoo. So it's really hard to get lost, okay? And what I'm going to do now can be done on any modules if you need. So we're going to have the filters and the group by. The key in Odoo, and the key for any software to be fair, is to find the right information as soon as you can. You don't want to lose time doing this, okay? So here maybe I want to group this by companies, for instance, okay? This is something I can do. So now I can see, okay, this is all the businesses I work with. If I've got some people not linked to businesses, this is where they'll go to none. And I can see, okay, for Acme Corporation, for instance, I can work with Addison, I can work with Douglas, Floyd, and so on. And you know what? This is actually the view I like. Or you know what? Actually, I do want to remove the none. Okay, so for instance, here are the 37 contacts that are not linked to a company. When I look for those information, I don't want to see them. This is just putting in the view. I can put a filter. Okay. This is basically giving you access to every data linked to the contact and telling you, okay, what do you want to display? This might seem a bit tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, this becomes really easy for you too. So what I want to do here, I want to say, okay, for instance, I do want to say if the company, for instance, is not set, I don't want to see the contacts. And this is going to remove everything that I need, okay? So once, this wasn't the right filter, by the way, but we could find it together afterwards. So we do have all these options. We can go through, you can group by, you can filter anything that you need. Once you're happy with this view, you can always search that as a favorite, okay? So if I want to see companies, for instance, I can save it like this, save it as my default filter if needed, and just save. Now this means that every time I go again on Odoo, so if I go here, I'll go back, this is a new day, I'll go to my contact. I want to find my view again, just click here, boom, this comes back, okay? Same goes for the Kanban view and so on. So now you see all those contacts, I'm just going to remove this. You see all those contacts and you might ask yourself, okay, but I need to import these. At the moment, I've just created a database and there's nothing in it. So what do? We're going to import some files. It can be either Excel files, CSV files, up to you, following what you've done before and what you can export. And you're just going to go here on that small gearing wheel. This is where you can do actions. Okay, you can import records, export knowledge spreadsheet. What we're interested in at the moment is import records. We do have a template for you. You can download that from here and then fill this in and then import it back. Okay. If you wish to export, work the same way. I can click here. If you don't want to select all of them, you know, maybe we've seen earlier today that we didn't want to, for instance, select, well, you know what, let's do it. You didn't say it. Maybe I want to check everyone who doesn't have a company link to it. I'll just click here and it's going to select everyone. All of those aren't going to be selected. And then from there, I can export them, insert in spreadsheets, merge, send emails, send SMS, every action that you wish. This is also a key thing to take into account when you work on Odoo. That should make your life easier. Use the filter, use the group by, save the filter that you often use, and use the action button when you need to do multiple actions at once. So this is for my contact. Now, what we're going to see is now the products. So my products, I can access them from, I don't know, 3 or 4 modules maybe. I can access them from the sales, I can access them from the inventory, purchase, and so on. But something I want you guys to start using, starting today on Odoo to make your life easier, is when you look for something in Odoo, there's no need to go to the settings, to go to a module, look for, spend time, go internet. No, just type it. So for instance, I want to see products. I'm just going to type products. And then I've got everything linked. So, oops, boom. And here are all my products. If you look at it, you're going to see that it looks pretty much the same as the contacts. We've got this Kanban view. We also have a list view, to be fair, just right there. So we find the information here. We've got also all the filters. So if I want to see everything that's good, I can click on it, filter it. So this is also something really helpful. And what I wanted to do as well is go on products and show you the inside of it. So if I'd open a contact, you'd see pretty much something like this. Okay, we're going to have what I call the main information on the left-hand side. Then we're going to have the small buttons on the top, and we're going to have a chatter on the right-hand side. I've said in the list view and in the Kanban view that they were similar pretty much in everywhere in Odoo. This is also the case for this view. Okay, again, with Odoo, once you understand it, you don't get lost. It's really straightforward. We're going to have what I call the main information. So this is where I'm going to put all the data about this product, okay, everything that's relevant. Sometimes some fields will trigger other options. For instance, here I'm going to do the tracking of the quantity by lots, by serial number, but if I remove this and don't track it, I'm not going to see the quantity on hand anymore, okay? You're going to see in Odoo that a lot of options are actually hidden on purpose because we're going to wait for you to tick a box or to activate something to display them. We don't want the view to be too polluted, so sometimes if you're missing something, if you're missing a data, maybe you're looking on your database and you're looking at a recording at the same time and you're like, okay, he has an option, but I don't have it. How come? Mostly linked to a setting that's missing or something that you haven't ticked. And if it's not that, it might be that you're not on the same version. So we're going to have all the information here. We can work with attribute and variants. I'm not going to get too much in depth into product configuration. We have loads of videos about this, but we'll see that again at the end. What I wanted to mention here is my purchase. Because we've mentioned that Odoo automates a lot, but it's also the case for purchase order. This means that I can generate a purchase order to one of my supplier based on quantity levels. So if I've got, for instance, this acoustic block screen, I've got 20 in stock, but you know, below 15, this becomes a risk. I need to have at least 15 and between 15 to 50. More than 50 doesn't make much sense. I don't have that much room in my storage, so 15 to 50, this is good. Well, I'm going to tell that to Odoo from the inventory. There's a settings, I'm going to tell that to Odoo, and when I bring my stock below 15, Odoo is going to create a purchase order to my supplier to bring me back to 50. But how does Odoo do that? Well, it actually gets the information from here from the purchase tab. Why am I showing you this after the contact? Simply because if I imported my product before my contact, I wouldn't be able to do that in the right order. So this tab would be empty because I'm importing my contacts later down the line. I hope you guys are following me. So what I mean here, my point is, there's an order for those imports. It's really important when you do imports to import them in the right order, and this is going to depend on what you do and what you want to automate. Again, get help for the implementation, but as I've said already 10 times, we'll look at it at the end. So we've got inventory, accounting, and so on. What I want to look at with you now is the small button. Because Odoo is integrated, we've made shortcut for you. So this means that any information that is relevant to what you're looking at the moment, we're going to give you a small button to this. So at the moment, for the acoustic block screen, I'll get there. I can see that I've got 2 variants. Okay, I can see that I've got 16 on hand, but -11 forecast. I can click on here and jump and see what's happening. I can review, okay, I've got some deliveries incoming, maybe I've got some receipts. So all those information are right there for me to work with. So this is, okay, I know where my stock is going. I know I might need to do some replenishment. That's something I can work with. Bill of materials for manufacturing, documentation, purchase, sold, and so on and so on. It works the same way for the contacts, okay? And because Odoo is integrated, it's actually quite easy to access information. I'm on my purchase tab. I'm looking at wood corner. I want to have more information about wood corner. Just click on it, internal link, boom, I'm now in the contact. Same view as earlier, you know, main information on the left-hand side, chatter on the right-hand side, all the smart buttons, and I can see I've got 3 meetings coming up with Wood Corner, I've got 2 opportunities in my CRM, and so on. This is great because this means that wherever you go in Odoo, you don't get lost. You've got all this information just one click away. All right, this is for the part of the products and the contact. I can always go back. Oh yeah, you've got a small breadcrumb there. So you can always, if I want to go straight back to the products, I can. If I want to do step by step, I can go back first to the acoustic block screen, form, then to my product. And if I want to go back fully, I can go back fully to my database. So what we've just seen, first of all, the settings are really important. Look at them, see what it says, try to understand how it works, the logic behind it, and the settings will help you do this. It might be a bit boring at first, I understand it, but this is how you set up something really in the best way. Then the import, also really important. The import needs to be imported the right way. We need to make sure we've got everything in place because we are going to automate. If we wish to automate, we need to know, or Odoo needs to know where to retrieve the information from and where to send it. Now, what I'd like to do with you is actually show you the CRM and do a quick workflow where I'm going to sell some product and services to a customer. I want to show you how easy it is and how automated it is within Odoo. I'm going to go to my CRM. Something I do want to mention about CRM, if you guys don't know what it is, this is, if I'm not mistaken, customer relationship management. This is a tool for, I'd say, normally salespeople, but this can be really applied to anything that you want. Okay, we do have a pipeline. Again, this is a Kanban view. If you don't like it, go to list view. I like the Kanban view better, but this is really up to you. We also have an agenda view, calendar view, sorry. We've got a pivot view, graph, map, and so on. But we'll get to this view later on. This is a pipeline, so with different stages. Okay, we've got new qualified proposition 1. You can add anything that you want. Okay, if you want to add negotiation or whatever, I can just do this. Boom, I can put it here. Oh no, I don't want it actually, my bad. I can remove it. And we can also add automation based on this, but we'll get to the automation again a bit later on. So this is my pipeline. I've got these different stages, and the goal for me with this is just to drag and drop my opportunities from left to right as I advance in the process. You may be starting a new business. Let's say you want to do an e-commerce, or you sell your services, or you sell goods, and you actually want your actually want to track the experience with your customer. You want to see where you stand. Did we have a first contact? Is the customer interested? What are the quantity that he is interested in? And what's the next step? Well, this is what the CRM does. I can see here all the new, I can see qualified, proposition 1, and any other stage that we can add. What I'm going to do here is go to info about services. Okay, we're going to open this one and look at it together. So what do I see first? I see the name of the opportunity. I see the amount that we could get from it. I can see also the name of the customer. I can see some tags. These tags, you're going to find them everywhere in Odoo. This is all way of giving you access to information, displaying information quite easily, and also allowing you to track information, group, filter by. You've seen this filter I was showing you earlier, where I could put some condition. This can help you all as well. So if I want to, you know what, let's do it now. I want to see everything that has a product on it. Okay, I want to focus on the product at the moment. I've got too much stock. I need to do that. So I'm going to put a filter where I want to see where tags are equal to product. And so we see here behind, we've got, well, you only have 4. We have got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all of the others are going to be removed. Boom. And now I see this. And again, this is something I can save. The tags in Odoo, they are really, really powerful. I would invite you to use them, put them on everywhere, contact, opportunities, sales, and so on, a subscription, to make sure that you can keep track of everything that's been done and display those information when necessary. But for now, let's just go back to my pipeline. So we see the tags, we see the priority levels. You can see here on proposition, I've got 2 stars, 1 star, and then no star. It just helps you sorting out your opportunities properly. Obviously, it's not really relevant. I've got, 12 here in this case. But if you have more, then this is where it becomes relevant because it can sort them out. Okay. Then we have the activity. Okay, we can see here, for instance, I've got a call plan. It's in green. So this activity in green means this is for the future. Okay, we also have maybe yellow. Okay, the yellow is for an activity plan for today, and then we have the red. This is overdue. Then we have who's in charge of this opportunity. At the moment, you can see this is me. This is Michel Admin. If I have a colleague that has his own pipeline, this is where I can see it. Actually, I do. I've got Mark Timo. He's right there, and he's got his own sales pipeline as well. But let's go back on. You know what? Let's go back info but services. So this is my CRM. Okay, this is again the view that you've seen for the product. You've seen this view for the contact. Again, we've got main informations, chatter, in the top, the smart buttons. So what we're going to be able to do here is actually, you've seen this view. If you pay attention in the slides, I told you that we had everything in one click. Well, this is how we do it. Okay, I can take all my notes. I can call if you have a VoIP system. You know, no need to take the phone. Just call from your VoIP. And then if I need to create a new quotation, click on new quotation. I've got quotation templates. You might tell me, okay, Charlie, but all my quotations, they're different. Yeah, but it's fine. Just have a big template and then you can remove anything that you want. I've loaded quotation template here, but for instance, you know what, I can see I don't have any acoustic block screen. Boom, you can just remove it. So this is my quotation template. Okay, the quotation template, we're going to be able to do a lot with these. We're going to be able to add headers, footers, documentation about your product, hide pricing, or developing team have worked really hard on these templates. So I invite you guys to look at what's been done and what can be done. We're not focused on quotation here today, but I would invite you guys to look at it. My quotation now is ready. With one click, I can just send it quite easily. The email is loaded in English because it sees that Acme Corporation is English speaking. I've got my quotation in PDF. I can send it. There we go. We've got this sorted. I also have a code calculator that allows me to work on kind of an Excel sheet and do calculation for my services or tax, or if you've got delivery fees and so on. This is where you'd work on it. What else do we have? In your notes, you can, and you've seen notes again, pretty much everywhere in Odoo. If you go / you're going to see a list of options. Okay, those options can be quite helpful. We're going to have headings, we're going to have banners, we're going to have checklist, A, B, C. I personally use a lot the banners, for instance. Okay, so if I go here, I can go to banner. We're gonna have different banners. We can have link buttons. You can also add media, add files, and info banners, for instance. Really nice customer. There we go. And then from the chat, I'm going to be able to send emails. Okay, so again, if I need to send a template, I'm going to have the templates by default, but we can also load new templates. Okay, so from here, I'm going to be able to send my emails. I'm going to be able to add a media, documentation, and so on. I'm also going to be able to use the AI. Okay, so if you need help with your emails, always ask your AI. Big news: AI can also retrieve information. So again, we're not going to dig too deep, in the AI today, but it's a big deal, and it's going to help you a lot on your emails, retrieve information, and make your life much easier. So this is something I invite you to look at. And we also have templates. Okay, so if I want to do templates, I can do that from here. If I create a new email from scratch, hi, this is Charlie. And I'm going to use that again because, well, my name is Charlie and I say hi a lot. I can just save as template. Template name, well, hi Charlie. There we go. And I can start over. We're going to also be able to log notes. Okay, in this chatter, you can see all the exchange of emails. This is also something really important. If you send your emails from Odoo, okay, keep in mind that we've got limited emails from the beginning. You need to see that with your account manager. We're going to give you access to a much more amount of emails to send to, but this is something to check with the account manager. Okay, we don't want anyone to be spamming from Odoo. So if you send your first email from Odoo, or well, any email to be fair, the reply to these emails will appear in the chatter. This is also something, in my opinion, that's really powerful with the software, because if I send a first email, then I've got a reply, then maybe my colleague sends an email, I can always access this thread from my inbox. But do I want to? If I've got all my information here with what my customer is looking for, all the meetings that we've had, I'd rather have everything on one screen. Well, this is what Odoo does. Odoo gives you all those on one same screen. I can just scroll down and get all the information I need. So log notes, yeah, I can put also only any notes I need. Okay, hi Charlie. It's going to become a thing now. I can leave these notes. I can work with activity. I was supposed to see them tomorrow. You know what? Actually, I don't want to. Can be asked. I'm going to move that to next week. And I'm going to do something else today. I'm going to, for instance, I'm going to plan a meeting with my colleague because we need to discuss this really. It's really important. So I'm going to click on meeting and I'm going to click on schedule. This is going to open my calendar. If your calendar is linked to Outlook calendar or Google calendar, they synchronize. I've got something on Friday already. Well, you know what? Let's do it tomorrow at 10 a.m. That seems great. There we go. Boom, save. I can include anyone I need. Okay, we can also have different room location. This is something that you can do. There we go. And now I've got my meeting here. I know Mark. He might not know about it. So I'm just going to tag him quickly and say, hey, mate, see the meeting tomorrow. There we go. This is going to send him an email notification that I've tagged him in the chatter. So he's going to be pinged and he can look at it and confirm that to me. Okay. So in this view, we have our chatter with email sending, log notes, activities. Activities, I've showed you a few, but just like the templates, we can create as many as we need. Okay, you can just go on the main page of Odoo that we've seen, type activities. You're going to see the activity type, and you can create your own. I've got all my information here that I can work with. We've seen new emails, templates, everything is included there. I've created a quotation. I can find my quotation back here. I'm going to move on this quotation again. There we go. I see all my products. I need to access my products. Just click on it, open it. Okay, I want to go back. I can just go back. I want to access my customer and see what I've already purchased in the past. Open it. I've got 6 sales, 5 opportunities in my CRM. I've got 6 tasks. I can see the point of contact there. So, you know what, Addison? I know she knows what I'm looking for. I can just go here and call her. I've got my notes. Leave my notes. Happy. Save it. Go back. Boom. And we're back. Okay. I've sent this. Now there's multiple options. Okay, we can just send a PDF, but we can also send an online version and access to your portal. By default, Odoo is going to give you access to a portal. So what is this portal? Well, let's have a look together. I'm sending this code to Addison, and although I do like the PDF because, well, there's my header, there's my footer, there's all the information that I like to send, but I do want her to have the option to sign in pay online. Okay, so if she does that, what is it going to do? We're going to automate, and at Odoo, we love automation. So we're going to have access to this portal. She can sign in pay. You can choose that, by the way, if you just want person to sign, just to pay, nothing at all. This is also an option that you have. This is why it's important to look at the setting. This is all the quotation because it's integrated. If I want to see the conference chair on your e-commerce, I can just click on it. Boom, opens the page. Oh yeah, great. I can just go back on my quotation. These are optional products. Okay, so this is also an option that we have where I can choose as many as I want. You know what, draw a black. I need 10 of those to be fair. There we go. And this is going to update the quantity on the quotation. Once I'm happy with it, I can either confirm it or I can even send a message. Okay, if I want to talk to my point of contact, hi, really nice, and I can just send it. Then the person will receive an email that I've communicated with that person and be informed. But let's move on. I'm going to sign and pay. There we go. Okay, to pay, you need a payment provider. We do have a few that we recommend you to look at. You can access the information from the settings or here directly from your e-commerce. I'm going to go back on my sale. I'm going to go back on this. What do I see? I see the email that was automated when sending the quotation. I see the comments. Okay, Odoo recognize this is me. This is Charlie Desjardins commenting it. But if it were my customer, I'd see the logo of my customer. I can see here that the order was signed. So this is nice. I can review this and review the signature if there is any. Okay. And then I can, if the person's paid online, this would confirm automatically. In this case, I'm just going to confirm it. This now becomes a sale order. This is where things become interesting, because now we've created a quotation that was available online. Now we've confirmed it. And what is Odoo doing? Well, you can see the small button that was created, project, task. Okay, we do have, I do believe it's for furniture assembly. We told Odoo, when I sell this service, I'm going to need some project management. I'm going to talk with my colleagues. Okay, who's going on site? Who's going to build what? Who has time? So we're going to need project management. So I told Odoo, when I sell this, create a project for me. Okay, you're going to have task management, project management, timesheets, and so on in the project. Again, this is not a webinar about project specifically, but please look at it if you find it interesting. Then we've got also some delivery. Why? Because we're selling goods. So this is now in my warehouse, but I need to send that to my customer. So Odoo is creating also a link to my inventory with the delivery button. If I were to purchase stock on the go, maybe as a make to order, maybe I'm buying these glasses I'm making myself. Well, you know what? Every time I've got an order, I need to buy it, not to make myself. Sorry, I need to buy it. Well, we can also create a purchase order automatically. And then finally, if I click on create the invoice, you can choose also if you want down payment, but this is going to create the invoice. I can make changes to that. You know what? Actually, I'm just a sales guy. I don't know much about the invoicing. I want to leave that, so I'm going to leave this as a draft. This is good like this, and the accounting, they'll sort it out and confirm this. And now we've got 3 small buttons: one to the invoice, one to delivery, and one to the project. It goes both ways, okay? Or it goes 4 ways. I don't know how to say it. We can go, if we go now to, for instance, my inventory, and we're going to go to my delivery orders. If I look at the latest one, this is now all the products I need to deliver, okay? And we're going to also have access to all source documents, so we can also see, okay, this is SO47. And now this gives me another link to barcodes, to movement, to see all the product, and we also see the availability of all products. That's a good thing. Everything is integrated. So if I need to ask George, what's the status on this product? When are we expecting them and so on? I can do that. It's already done by default because George is putting all the data in his inventory module. So I'm going to be able to know that. But if I need any update, I can just tag George on it. This is really easy. Let's go back. So what we've seen now is actually the CRM. We've seen that when we, just close that. We've seen that from the CRM, we can access the sales, we can access the inventory, we can access the accounting and many other modules just to make your life easier. You know what? This is not enough. And this is where this is going to be a bit more tricky, but I'm going to show you a trick to add a new small button because, well, although I do find this interesting, sometimes I create project, for instance, beforehand. Okay, so in my project, I'm going to create a new project that I'm going to call 1st of April. We've seen the basic now. I'm going to get into a bit more complex needs. I'm going to work with Studio. You might have heard Studio. Studio is a tool, my favorite tool to be fair in Odoo, that you only find on the custom version of Odoo. This is not something you should aim for if you have never played with Odoo, or if you're really IT friendly, you can. But I would advise first getting the hang of Odoo, understanding how it works, then moving to Studio. Studio is going to allow you to do a lot of things, but we're going to see that together now. Stage 1. And I'm going to create a new task. I'm going to call it task webinar. So I do have my task now. We've made it really basic. As you can see here, there's not much. Okay, and the goal for me is actually when I start working on a project, I need to work with my colleagues because before we do the sale, actually we need, and this is something that comes up quite often, before we do the sales, we actually need to start working on marketing, on plans, or provide, I don't know, studies or cases, business plans, for instance, and we need to work internally beforehand. Okay, well, I can always go here with Studio. I'm going to start using Odoo Studio. I'm going to add this to the database. That's right. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a link between project and CRM. To be fully honest with you, I do believe that in the last version, we've released something that from the gearing wheel that gives you access to create projects automatically. So that might be redundant, but this could work with pretty much any workflows that you have. Okay, so I'm now on my project, and what I want to do is link this to one of my opportunity. Okay, so before we get into this, this is Odoo Studio. Okay, this is maybe the most amazing tool in Odoo. This is what is going to allow you to automate even more, to modify your reports, to modify your views, to add fields, to create links between them. Anything that we've missed, anything that is relevant to your business that we don't have in standard, this is where you do it. Okay, if you do that, I would advise to get the help of someone who knows how to work with Odoo, because you don't want to pollute the view and you want to make it simple. Don't want to add extra stuff. Okay, so we see a different fields. All of those are actually fields I can add. You know, classic text field like the notes, maybe decimal if I need to put, I know, degrees, temperature, whatever, numbers, HTML, and so on, even files if I need to. But what I'm looking now is actually I'm looking to link one of my opportunities from my CRM. So I'm just going to do a what we call a many-to-one. What am I looking? I'm looking for lead. There we go. What was the name of my lead again? Info about services, I believe. So I'm going to do lead studio. Yes, perfect. Going to close this. Okay, we've added a field. So far, so good. And this is a field that allows me to link a project to an opportunity. I could do it now, but we'll do it afterwards. Okay, my new field was created. So now I'm going to go on my CRM. And what I said is, for my CRM, I want a small button that allows me to create a new project. So I'm going to go back on Studio. I'm going to see the plus here. And I want to say project. Icon is more than fine, and I'm going to search more. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to retrieve the field I've just created in my project. I'm going to retrieve it to the small button. So I can see here, this is what I've just created. Lead Studio, X Studio. So you can see this was something done with Studio. This is what I'm looking for. Confirm. There we go. What's happening now? I have a new small button on project, but it's not just on this opportunity, it's on all of them. So if I go now and find, I don't know, more than open space, I'm going to have project as well. If I click now on this, I can open a new task in the project straight away. Creating business plan. There we go. And so this has created a new project in a new task, in the project 1st of April that we just created. And this is linked to my CRM. So this means now you can see I've got one. I want to create a new one. Easy. Just click on new and then you'll have two. And if I go on the project now, I go to 1st of April, I go on creating business plan, I can see linked to my opportunity as well. So see, those two now, they're going to be linked together. Okay, so the goal with Studio is to create automation to adapt to your own workflow. Every business is different. Every business has their own way of doing. When we also know that sometimes there's one specific way that you need to be working, which is not common or not accessible in Odoo by default. This is how you do it. This is how you customize Odoo to your needs. This is coming to an end for the demo. I do still want to share with you three tips actually from my experience before we get to the support. Okay. So the first tip is start simple. Okay, we've mentioned it today. I'm showing you Studio already. I've shown you CRM, I've shown you sales, and so on. If you're looking at Odoo for the first time, although this seems intuitive, and it is to be fair, it might take time. Okay, Odoo is an ERP. Odoo is a tool to manage businesses from one employee up to thousands. So if you're not really IT friendly, it's okay if you're struggling at the beginning. Start simple. Look at one module, try to understand it, understand the view, understand how it works, then get to a second, get to a third one, and so on. Try to get a way of learning that is structured and where you take your time to do it and make sure that you're not making a mistake. My second tip is actually linked to this, is the configuration and the implementation. This is, if you have to leave with one tip today, this is the tip I want you guys to be living with. This is actually really important into Odoo, is the configuration that you make with it. Odoo is an amazing tool. Odoo is crazy good to automate, creating shortcut, making your life easier, but implementation is the key. If you want something fully automated, you need to implement it correctly. The same way you do with a car, or when you're driving behind a car, when you're behind the steering wheel and you're driving your car, you're like, okay, this is so easy, this goes so smoothly, but it's because you don't see all the connections that were done in the car before. Well, this is it. Before you're able to go on the road and drive, you need to put your car together, put all the pieces. Some people might need a small car, some people might need a van, some people might need a truck. This is up to you, but you need to put it together, make sure it works, and then start working. Quick tip as well, what are we thinking on it? If you need to test some workflows on your database and you are already working in Odoo, do not do it in your production database. Create a duplicate of your database, work on it, see if it works, see if your tests are running smoothly. If they do, then copy what you've done on your production database. Third tip, adapt to your employees. You might be friendly, you might have understood everything that I've said so far. It might not be the case of your 60 years old employee who's been working in the company forever, but is used to work with papers and a pen. We've seen that too many times is that the head of the company or the head of department decide to move to Odoo, and this is great, but doesn't take into account their own employees. Sometimes employee will take time and won't learn the same way as you do. So when you start moving into Odoo, try to have your employees involved in the process, maybe involved in the first processes, the first contact you have with someone from Odoo, and make sure that we know where we're going and that when we implement and we train them, it's done in the best way. So we save time and make sure there's no frustration on the software. This is also going to help you on the long term from my experience. All right, those were my 3 tips. We're now going to move to some support. So if you need help starting with Odoo, there's a few things to take into account. We first have the support. Okay, you can go on the support odoo.com/help, and you can do a few things here: request development, become partner, meet advisor, and report a bug. If you've got any issue, you can always report a bug. For my colleagues, I'm asking you, please, when you do so, add as many details as you can. If you just send, I cannot send invoices, how do we know if it's an issue with your email templates, an issue with Studio, an issue with the, maybe the email address is not on the contact? So provide description. When is the issue happening? Do you have any screenshot and recording? The more you put, the more your demand will be treated quickly, and also the more we'll have the skills and information for you to reply with. So that's for the support. Then we have, if you go to odoo.com/slides, we have the kind of onboarding videos, recordings. You've got here different categories: getting started, CRM, sales. You're going to find all of those on YouTube anyway. But if you do need to look into the CRM specifically, I would invite you to go to the CRM and look at all the videos about the CRM. This is going to help you out. We also have sometimes some quiz and so on, so it might be even interesting for you to look at and do the quiz and see if you manage. Okay, well, there we go. We're updating for your services. And then we're going to have documentation. Okay, this is also available if you need to. Then we're going to have the packs. So the packs, well, you can either do the implementation through yourself, okay, but you need to be IT friendly again, or you can do that through a partner. If you do that, we do have partners available online, and then you can also do it through the Odoo direct approach. So this means in-house with our own consultant working on the software, developing and so on. They also sometimes help you during implementation and making sure that everything is set up a proper way. We do have those packs available here online. I don't know why this is in French. Apologies for this. We'll move that to English. But if we are updating, there we go. So you have those online as well. You won't be able to buy them like this. You need to be in contact with an account manager to make sure that we understand where you're going, that the amount of hours is enough, and that your project makes sense. Okay. After that, we'll go through the implementation and you'll be assigned one of our experts. So if you need to start with Odoo, first of all, implementation, which is key, either yourself, challenging, but you'll save some bucks on it. Then we have partners, then we have direct approach. When you need help in the process, you can have the support page, you can have the documentation, and you can have odoo.com/slide with all the courses. There's also a course named Getting Started. If you're new to Odoo, please start with this one. And then we have the packs. And finally, to close this, if you didn't know about our pricing yet, this is how we do so. This is our pricing. So we've got the 1-up free version. You just need the accounting. It's free. You just need the sales. It's free. You just need website. It's free. We have also the standard version. Everything is included, but Studio, as mentioned, and a few things like multi-company, API connection, or the on-premise solution for your hosting. We haven't mentioned the hosting here, but if you go type Odoo hosting in Google, you'll find all the information that you need. And then the custom version here, this is a pricing for, this is monthly equivalent pricing for yearly. Okay, the new customers, they get this pricing, but technically this is this per month. So you can do time 12 and this is the yearly pricing. If you want a monthly pricing, just toggle this and then you get to the monthly pricing. There we go. This is an hour. Perfect. We are going to move to the Q&A session. If you've got any question, I'll be here to answer them the best I can. Thank you. See you in a bit. Welcome back. I'm going to read through your questions and try to answer them, all of them if I can. So first question from Gurbak Singh HV8553. I have set up a website and linked to the current domain, but it's not picking up the security certification and showing error when we use sign up saying site not sure. This is exactly the kind of question where I'm going to invite you to reach out to the support. Okay, this is provide documentation, provide screenshot, try to explain exactly what's happening and when. This is exactly the thing that the support will work with. They usually reply within, well, I don't know, 50, 48 hours, 72 hours, depending on the complexity. If it's a bug within Odoo, then you'll be lucky to have what we call a bug fix ticket, where we're actually going to change Odoo based on your feedback. This happens quite often. Then from Femoris, in Portugal, the invoice software must be certified by the finance. Is the original invoice module already certified? No, we're working on it. I do not have the feedback yet precisely, but I know the Portugal, we are working really hard on it. We are aiming, I'm hoping that I'm not going to spoil anything, but we're hoping obviously to get our accounting certified for every country in the world, but it takes some time, as you can imagine, but Portugal is high up in the list. Can you make a backup before loading demo data and then restore it if you already played with it enough? Okay, so maybe you could, because we do have backup, but this is not really how you would do things. If you load demo data, then you're going to have so many configurations, so many data inserted that it would just take ages to remove everything. So I would strongly suggest not doing this. Go just to demo.odoo.com and you're going to have database for an hour or two, play with this. Or if you need to, what you could do, to be fair, is duplicate your database, upload the demo data, do whatever you want, and then just put it in the bin and go back on your production database when you need. What are the differences between light users and full users? Light users are really specific to some company. This is not something that is available for every business. So this is something to see with the account manager. It's in some really specific cases. So yeah, if you believe that you could work with light users, I would invite you to contact your account manager. There's a few questions I'm not sure I understand. Can there be vendor price lists similar to sales price lists where we use formulas to base vendor price list based on other price lists? Yeah, so usually the vendor price list, you're going to have that in your product form straight away. We can always input code in fields, but this is some development, so this would require maybe Odoo SH to work with. So I would invite you to, again, contact your account manager. This might be something I'm going to repeat a lot in this, but basically, you're going to have an account manager that's going to be the in-between. This is what I do. The in-between between all tech, okay, or consultants that are going to answer those kind of questions because, well, obviously, their time is counted. So we're going to reach out to them and make basically a summary of all the questions that we have for them. They'll come back to us, and then we come back to you. Everything that we can answer straight away, we'll do. But sometimes it's better to just reach out to your account manager if you have one, and if you don't, create a database and get in contact with someone maybe from the support as well. Can you modify sale order PDF document with Studio to add a column showing gross price if VAT is used? Yes, that's what I've mentioned earlier in this webinar, is that modifying templates PDF, this is something quite challenging. So I'm gonna switch to I'm gonna show you my screen now. You should see my screen in a few seconds. If I go to sales or invoicing, it works the same way, and I go on Studio, I can go on reports. This is where you're gonna be able to find the reports. If you're not used to it, this is really something quite challenging because this is computed with loads of fields, loads of layout, template, and so on. So changing this, yes, it is doable, but because you've got so many automation based on, well, this includes so many automation, so many extra fields, this might be quite complicated. Okay, I'm gonna go back on your live chat. Still no mention of VAT or without VAT on your price page. Well, fair enough. This is actually VAT not included. Okay, although in Europe, most of the time, sometimes you won't even pay the VAT, but yeah, it is VAT excluded. There's still a few questions that I've missed here, but if you do have questions, I'm going to invite you to reach out to either the support. If it's a technical question, how do I do this? Maybe a few questions were like this. If it's something technical, I'm not an expert. Okay, I know a bit Odoo, as you just seen, but I don't want to see a mistake. Okay, this is all the job of my colleagues. So I'm going to invite you to go on odoo.com/help and create a support ticket. Get in touch with someone on a live chat. You can also always call the hotline, or better, if you have a subscription with Odoo, reach out to your account manager, send those techie questions, and they'll help you out. Thank you everyone for joining today. We are going also to try to answer a question in the comments. And yeah, have a good one. Take care.